YouTube. So I want to clarify a few things before you go on and view this video. I do appreciate you taking the time to actually hear me ramble about the review of the movie RoboCop. So definitely, this is something that you should take consideration. If you want to preserve the imagination of the original classic, do take a chance to watch the 1987 film. But other than that, if you don't want to get into the details, I suggest you stop this video before the 1 minute and 3 second mark of the next part of this video, and just enjoy. Sorry again, but thanks for watching. Do let me know, rate, subscribe, and comment down below. What do you think about the movie? What do you think should have happened, and what kind of changes? Or do you like what's going on now? Would you actually consider thinking about seeing a sequel to this new evolution movie, RoboCop? Thanks. Hope you guys, hope you all had a great Valentine's Day weekend. And basically, I do apologize for the noise in the background. There's a little bit of drying, but I got a lot of done over this weekend. And basically, one of my things was watching RoboCop. So on Thursday, I got to watch it, and I have to say it was kind of a mind-boggling experience for me. Kind of felt like if I was watching Back to the Future Part 2 and Star Trek put together, and where they go into an alternate universe, and yeah, it kind of just like blows everything away for me. So, with that being said, like if you guys haven't really watched the film, then this video is basically not for you. Because I'm actually going to be giving out a couple of spoilers, and it's what I like, what I didn't like about it. So this is where you should be cutting it off. So with that said, RoboCop, it was okay. I mean, you guys, there was a lot of good actors. You had Gary Oldman, Samuel L. Jackson, and you had RoboCop, whatever other actor there is in there. Oh, Michael Keaton. Sorry, I forgot. Is that see? That's the thing, man. They put like three main good characters. They had Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, and Gary Oldman. It's like an overkill. So, 1987 film. Let me go ahead and sum it up. 1987. You had Alex Murphy, who was a regular beat cop, was very in touch with his son, and was transferred from a high class precinct to like the worst precinct ever in Detroit City. So you got to see Captain Reed, which was a black man. You got to see Officer Lewis, which was a white female, and Bob Morton and everybody else from OCP. Now OCP was basically the owner of Detroit City, since Detroit City was basically in ruins. They were bankrupt. They were owing so much money they could not actually afford. OCP decided to go ahead and buy the police force, and with that they was forced to sign a waiver form. So they signed a waiver form, and that was basically it. Officer Murphy got to see his first assignment, in which he died. So he was shot up various times by Clarence Bartiker and his team, and Officer Lewis was there watching. So that was it. And at some point, he was at the hospital where OCP executives was like, so basically, what can we do with him now? OCP had ownership of the police department, so basically it was just they could do whatever they want. So they did, and RoboCop was reborn. Now let me go back to the new film. The new film basically just blew it out of my mind because Alex Murphy is now a detective, and he is very much alive, in which the crowd roared for him when his return was like a big robot, android type thing, man, machine. He died basically from a explosion of a car. So a car was in his driveway. He was trying to have sex with his wife for the last time, and basically the car alarm went off, which was kind of weird. Why would you win? I mean, it makes me laugh to that point. He's trying to make love to his wife. Car alarm goes off. He goes outside. Car blows up. End of story. Alex Murphy lost a leg. He lost like most. He lost his eye. He was burnt up halfway to crisp. So when you got to see him, you got to see like he was all blown up. But he was very much alive. And all this while Alex Murphy's wife was watching through a screen. So Michael Keaton, who's actually the OCP president, basically like made him sign a waiver for him. Like, like, hey, can we do this to your husband? It's the only way he could live, and it's the only way, So if you really want to do it, let's go ahead and do it. Just sign these papers. And since Alex Murphy's wife really did wanted him alive, she went ahead and signed it. So that kind of kills it for me because, like I said, back to 1987, they could do whatever they want with him. Alex Murphy was dead. His wife even acknowledged the fact that he died. Well, you didn't get to see his wife's face, but he was dead. His family was just like gone because even when RoboCop had flashbacks, in which the new film did also have flashbacks, but in the 1987 film, you got to see that this dude had flashbacks to the point where he actually went to his house. He went to the house where he originally lived, and nobody was there. You got to see that he was very, very well bonded with his son because his son was actually telling him, "Hey, Dad, can you do that?" So you got to see some like TV show where he got to flip his gun and put it back into his holster. That was basically the father and son moment, and you got to go to the kitchen where the kitchen was the wife and all this stuff, and then the son costume and all that. And then you got to see the bedroom part where he was trying to get intimate with his wife, and you got to see the wife going into the closet, or not the closet, but I guess the closet part. And that was it. And those flashbacks just kicked in and said, well, I don't have a life no more. Might as well just fight crime. But in the new film, which is kind of rated PG-13, so I kind of do see where the family values or the morals to this comes up, where Alex Murphy still has a family, and his wife is most wanting to get his attention to have paid, to pay a visit to his son. And being that he was, still alive, it's like, no, I don't want my son to see me like this and stuff like that. I mean, why not? I mean, you're still alive. Might as well say, hey, son, this is my full body prosthetic. I'm just lungs and heart. So, but in the original one, you basically got to see that his police record shows that Alex Murphy was deceased, and Officer Lois, which was his partner, female partner, in that time was telling him that his wife moved away from the house and they no longer lived there after the murder, after the death and all that stuff. They just packed up and left. So he got to really accept the fact that his wife moved on. And in part two, his wife does come back to see him, but RoboCop breaks the bad news that her husband was dead. He was actually dead. He even got to feel the face. He was like, feel my face. So when the moment where she felt the face, she was like, oh, it's cold. He's like, yeah, your husband is dead. This is just an image that they made out of him because he was a good cop. So, that pretty much killed the whole imagination thing where he was still alive. He was still fighting crime to the fullest, but not really paying attention to his family, which was there lovingly and gave him the second chance to live, which kind of is messed up in the real world if you think about it. But what sums it up for me was that, Gary Oldman was Dr. Norton, in which the original who actually created RoboCop was Bob Morton. So it was kind of funny and weird, but you got to see the cliches here and there. The other thing that kind of freaked me out was that I didn't get to see the media news that you got to see in every single RoboCop film, where you got to see the media news and the little commercials that kind of quirky and kind of really sick, like the Magnum Volt, the car commercial Magnum Volt, and the news. That kind of freaked me out. It kind of got replaced with cool Samuel L. Jackson and his supposed Alex Jones show. So that kind of really was weird. Another thing that kind of flipped me out was that the Ed 209 was mass produced. In the original film, the Ed 209 wasn't really built. It was actually a prototype. You got to see one of the chief's executives from OCP get to, pitch the prototype for the Ed 209 to be mass produced for military grade purposes. It was just to be a weapon and such. But when they did the test launch, the Ed 209 failed and killed one of the executives from OCP, in which the old man decided, hey, you know what, scrap this. We're not going to waste money on, so this kind of stuff can happen. So this is where Bob Morton decided to come through and pitch in the idea and say, hey, I got something in line and it's ready to be done. And we do have a subject waiting to, have the process done. So Bob Morton pitched RoboCop, and that's how RoboCop was born. So this kind of new film flips it for me, and that's what kind of just makes me want to just give one thumb up, but not the two thumbs like the Siskel and Ebert type. So this really gets a Rotten Tomato rating of a 5 to a 4 for me, but yeah, just give it a 5. So if you guys haven't watched it, if anything, watch 1987 film first before you do the 2014 version, because the name RoboCop itself is a taint of a good classic film that was made originally and can never be replaced. If anything, I do have another video suggesting on how it should be and what the title should be. It should be basically RoboCop CPU, which was a definition for a crime prevention unit, because in RoboCop Part 2, he does give the full detail of who he is and what he is. So yeah, that's my full review and all this stuff. Sorry if that took too much of your time, 11 minutes. But if anything, thanks for watching. Do rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the new RoboCop film if you did watch it. And what do you think is better, the 1987 or the new one? See ya.